Love is Blind France, the reunion, it came out today. I just watched it. I don't have anyone to talk about it with, so I'm here talking to you guys about it. If you haven't seen the reunion, or if you haven't seen Love is Blind France, maybe don't watch this because they're going to be spoilers. What a reunion show. My favorite or my best reunion show ever of any Love is Blind or even any reality show. It was amazing. Camera work, A1. Cast, A1. Wardrobe, A1. Hosts, A1. Questions, A1. Fantastic. 10 over 10. Also, this was the best thing I've watched with subtitles. It came out today, so it's only available in French. It doesn't have the audio in English. So I watched it with French audio, but English subtitles. Still fantastic. This season, which is the first season of Love is Blind France, the second best Love is Blind I've ever watched. I've watched all 9 American ones. I've watched the 2 UK ones, and then this one from France. I want to get into what happened at the reunion, okay? So at the end of the season, right, 2 couples got married. I think there are like 5 couples. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 5 couples made it to the end of the season. Only 2 got married at the altar. Of the 2 couples who said yes at the altar, now today at the reunion, nobody is married. Everybody has gone their separate ways. They started with Charles and Julie, who, it was a struggle, it was an uphill battle, but at the end of the season, they got there eventually, right? Julie didn't really like Charles physically during the season, but he grew on her as time went by. They said yes at the altar. I was rooting for them. They looked like they would work it out. Julie seemed like she has certain things she needs to work on personality-wise. She seems a bit rigid. She's not willing to compromise on certain things with regards relationship and marriage. But I think the hope was that they'd figure it out or she'd get through that and all that. But it didn't happen. Apparently, that was one of the reasons why they went their separate ways. According to Charles, she didn't respect him as a husband. Yeah, and I kind of get it. If you observed Julie through the season, and even on the reunion show, it was very hard for her to be there. She was quite emotional. I understand. Not to say that Charles didn't have his issues, but I see why they clashed and why they decided to go their separate ways. Let's move on to Thomas and Kim. Kim said no at the altar, but they seemed quite cordial at the reunion. I was happy for them. Nothing much to report there. But then they went to Yanick and Tatiana. And my emotions were all over the place. I was really rooting for them. They started off well on the show, right? If you remember, those of you who have seen it, the honeymoon was fantastic. The reveal was fantastic. They're a beautiful black couple, but things just crashed and burned at the end of the season. They never even made it to the altar. And at the reunion, when they're trying to address the issues, it was like sitting in on a therapy session of a couple that are friends of yours. It was painful to watch. And while Tatiana put her words together quite well, and it seemed like she was taking accountability, it became apparent to me that Tatiana is the kind of person that is like, it's my way or the highway. I'm an entrepreneur who is doing well. I have a child, and I have lots of things that are going on in my life. Get on board or get out. It seemed like that was Tatiana's temperament. And Yannick is the kind of person he doesn't want to rush into things. He doesn't want to be rushed into things. He wants to talk things out. But Tatiana doesn't like talking things through. I think because her fear is that once you talk things through, it will be apparent that she is the one at fault, that she's the one in the wrong. And to me, Tatiana is the kind of woman who doesn't want to be proven wrong, right? She doesn't like eating the humble. Nobody likes eating the humble pie, but sometimes you just have to do it to forge ahead as a couple. And Tatiana doesn't seem like the kind of person who is willing to make sacrifices, but yet she wants someone to make sacrifices for her. I'm not saying Yannick didn't have his faults. He had his faults if you watch the season when he didn't show up for the perfume thing and, maybe him not also signing the prenup. He had his faults as well, but he was willing to sit down, come to the table and dialogue. But Tatiana, if you are with somebody who doesn't want to come to the table and dialogue, forget about it. It can't work. Moving on to Alexandre and Chloe, who said yes at the altar at the end of the season, but I was so shocked. When they were showing their highlights, they were smiling. I was like, for sure, these guys are going to say, yes, we're still together, we're going strong. They say we're married, yes, quite all right, but we're separated. I was stunned. I lost my mind. I don't know. You see, Chloe is a fantastic girl. If I end up with a woman like Chloe, when I get married, I will consider myself fortunate. Chloe is understanding. She's considerate. She's willing to come to the table and dialogue. She's honest. Her heart is on her sleeve. She communicates well. She loves her man. But for whatever reason, Alex just seemed distant. And I'm guessing he's the one who called things off. And I, for the life of me, could not understand why they couldn't work things out. Because they look great together. They have great chemistry. So many things are aligned with them. But for whatever reason, Alexandre just wasn't complete. Or he just didn't feel, in my opinion, that Chloe was his second half. You know, the person who completed him. And while I was watching, I was like, so what do you want? If Chloe is not good enough for you, what is your ideal? What is your dream woman or whatever? If this woman who loves you to the moon and back and who is a great communicator and who is willing to do anything for you, if she's not good enough for you, what do you want? It really did my head in, and I was so pained. I was speechless while watching them, you know, during the reunion. Jonathan and Cynthia, who had a tumultuous time in Morocco during the honeymoon. You know, they were clashing and at each other's throats throughout. So they're on the show. They talk about what went wrong. I think they address the issues. They're just different personalities. And I think they have strong personalities. And I don't think either of them are the kind to compromise or make sacrifices for the other person. They also are like my way or the highway type of people, in my opinion. I was happy that, you know, Jonathan is in a relationship with somebody else who was on the show, and he seemed to have really good chemistry with that lady. And when they said that Jonathan is now seeing someone, in my mind, I was like, I'm sure she's not black. I'm sure she's not black. Because Jonathan, to me, seems like the kind of guy who will get on better with a woman who is not black. And okay, I need to explain that. I think many black women, not all black women, they have high requirements and they want a lot. I think they want a lot more than non-black women do. That's my personal opinion. And if you look at Cynthia and Tatiana, it seems like their requirements are a lot. And I was also wondering, who are the men that you guys will find that will meet you where you need to be or where you want them to be? Or you get my point. Which kind of men will be the men you want and desire, and vice versa, will desire you and want you back? Because they just seem to require a lot and not want to give as much as they require. Finally, Vani and Sabrina. No surprises there. Vani said no at the altar, and they agreed to, you know, be friends and whatnot. I think Vani, the experience of Love is Blind was a whole lot more than he planned or bargained for, right? Because from the onset, from the reveal, when he sees Sabrina on the show and when they go to Morocco, he seemed like he wasn't there fully. He seemed quite shy. He seemed like he didn't want to even be there. So no surprises that they weren't together and, you know, they didn't work things out. And I'm sure if Van Mee could turn back the hands of time, he would have done things differently, or maybe not even gone on the show. But I have to say the reunion was fantastic TV. One of the best things I've watched this year. One of the best non-movie type things I've watched in 2025. And honestly, I think American Love is Blind should take lessons from, I don't know what they're doing in season 9 of Love is Blind America, which is currently ongoing. It's a train wreck. But Love is Blind France, those guys, they understand how to do this show. And the whole season, Love is Blind, I found myself wondering if I should continue watching Love is Blind, because I wonder what it's doing to me subconsciously with regards how I feel about love and marriage. Because these shows, Love is Blind in particular, are full of people who are not willing to seemingly work things out, to compromise, to sacrifice, to communicate. Because I watch them and I'm like, surely if you guys sit down and you're willing to make sacrifices for each other, or communicate, or dialogue, or at least sometimes give it time, or cool off and come back, surely you can make this work. But it seems to not be the case. Also, let's not forget the fact that you being under that kind of pressure to meet people under such a short amount of time and to marry them within 4 weeks, my goodness, it's incomprehensible. I don't think I could do that. So there's that dynamic as well. So at the end of the day, I don't think love is blind. I think people need to see who they're talking to, who they're getting to know, and they need time to work things out and to really get to know each other without the pressure of I must marry this person or I must be with this person with, at the end of 4 weeks by the time that this whole TV show thing is over. That is just far too much pressure on these people. And I think that's what ultimately makes many of their relationships not work out. Not that, what I said earlier about them not being willing to compromise or communicate and all that. I think it's just there's so much pressure when these people meet each other and get to know each other and live together and have to get married in like 4 weeks or whatever. But guys, let me know what you thought about the reunion of Love is Blind France and the season as well. Let me know in the comments section down below. I thoroughly enjoyed the season and I thoroughly enjoyed the reunion as well. Oh, and shout out to Bemi, somebody who lives in Canada that I follow on Instagram, who posted it on her stories, and she's the one who got me to watch it. I was like, let me watch it anyway because I'm learning French. There's even France and Paris written on my t-shirts. I've been learning French for a while, so I thought to myself, this would be a good way to learn French subconsciously while also enjoying this reality TV show, which I really like. So yeah, it wasn't time wasted at all. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought about the reunion and the season as well in the comment section down below. My name is Tito. I do a whole lot of stuff on YouTube, and if you want to see the stuff I do, just type my name, Tito Abumere, in the search bar and you'll find my content, which is mainly Nollywood reviews or personal finance or my podcast, the 30-minute podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.